wasn't sure you would come.
I wanted to talk with you. If we work together, we can drive off the remaining Mongols. Start rebuilding our home.
That is not your duty. The Shogun has disbanded Clan Sakai. As of today, you are no longer samurai.
I sacrificed everything for my people. And I would do it again.
New samurai are coming to replace those we lost. They will occupy your land and estate.
I have to say goodbye to my home.
Ride with me.
The Tale of Lord Shimura. Well, maybe we'll actually be able to make up and everything will be nice. We'll see. But yeah, so I guess I'm in like a preset outfit. Will it? Like Ronin attire it forced me to wear. Yes, that's the only option here. It needs me to wear this. Stab him in the back. I did. He didn't care. He just kind of stumbled a little bit. Just broke his pace up. Very slightly.
Will you remain in Tale of Tsushima?
Yes. Shogun asked me to train his warriors to fight the Mongols.
Good. They won't give up until they've conquered all of Japan.
I will spend what years I have left ensuring they fail. A task I hoped we would face together, as father and son.
You can still remarry, start a new family.
Yes, I suppose I can.
But he's definitely disappointed.
Use a push.
Here, let us help you.
Don't trouble yourselves, my lord.
Nonsense.
You can't
Well,
do it
I thought I was
alone.
gonna get like squished between the horses for a sec there. Okay.
You are much too kind. The mud is
My horse
thicker
is
than it
leaving me now.
looks.
That's a heavy load.
Oh, so
Where
on
do you
their
have
own
it?
time the
Show
horses
that.
go to graze? That's kind
The
of cool.
ghost army is up there.
He has an army.
You didn't hear? They'll sail for the Mongol steppes with a storm at their back. Burn their homes to the ground.
An impressive goal.
This is everything I can offer them. I hope it helps.
Then we will see you on your way.
So this is to go support the ghosts army? Without me knowing? Oh my god, a little bit of crazy physics there. Push the wagon with Lord Shimura. Where? Oh, just on the back here. I mean, you're not gonna push it far if it's being wedged into the ground at the front there. Just getting it over the rocks here. Okay.
Thank you, my lord.
Jogaku is many miles from here. Keep away from the mud and the Mongols.
I will.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Not here. Follow me.
Is your horse digital or deluxe? Looks pretty nice, but I don't think it is. Just doesn't give off the same vibes.
Every day, more people flock to your cause. The Shogun is concerned. I am concerned.
You have nothing to fear.
When the new clans arrive, will people bow to their samurai? Or betray them in the name of the ghost?
I won't let them do that. They'll listen to me.
You openly defied me, Jin. My most trusted warrior. You taught our people to disobey their leaders. What makes you think your followers will obey you? That's enough riding. Walk with me, Jin.
As you wish.
Very beautiful game once again.
My family's cemetery.
The resting place of 7 generations of Sakai.
Oh, that's a pretty open
Including
battlefield there too. So I
And
mean,
my father.
We must pay our respects.
It just so happens to be with a big, open, perfectly circular space here. Oh, it won't let me stab anymore. Beautiful.
I will miss this.
So will I. The Shogun has declared you a traitor.
He ordered you to kill me.
The Ghost was an outlaw. He taught our people to defy their leaders.
To defend themselves.
With poison, a gift you gave to our enemy.
I had to stop you from throwing away our people's lives.
You have no honor.
And you are a slave to it.
You are my son. Now I must continue the line of Shimura without you. I must start a new family.
And my head is the cost.
Taking it is my punishment. Our final day together. It is beautiful. It's time. Write the last words of Clan Sakai.
And Clan Shimura.
Oh, I have to actually do it. It's like a haiku. But yeah, we are facing him at the end. Hands that shaped the world. Eyes that saw my pain. Strength in every step. If I knew what the following ones were, then I'd be able to decide on this one a bit better. How about... I'm kind of torn between these ones. I'm gonna do Eyes That Saw My Pain. A fate neither of us want. Destiny divides our souls. A bond broken forever. Destiny divides our souls, I'd say. Ooh, that's nice. Will death redeem us? This is where we part. I fight without hope. Will death redeem us? How about? Leaving it with a question.
Eyes that saw my pain. Destiny divides our souls. Will death redeem us?
parents will always be with you.
Yes, Uncle.
I will train you to become the strongest warrior Clan Sakai has ever known. I will raise you as my own son. Are you ready?
I am ready.
I can't help but notice how the leaves on the ground look almost like the yin and yang. Also, after all that crazy cinematics and the super cool music, I'm totally gonna fail this first try, except you have the same attack patterns of like so many dudos that I've faced before. Yikes. This music's really cool. Oh, no, some of the attacks are different than I'm used to. Alright, this is gonna take me a hot second. Okay, I didn't even try to dodge or parry that time, because I was trying to coat my sword in flame. Alright, but he doesn't come and like stab to finish off. We don't see happen. Okay, this is probably gonna take me a little while. So, bear with me. Into blue? Oh, he doesn't do that. No, it's a spin attack that goes into blue. The sheath one is always double red. I'm forgetting how it works. If I get the perfect dodge on either one of them, then I can counter.
Spirit, never heal. Killing me will only make them worse. Let me go in peace.
Yeah. That's probably what I would have said there too. Okay, well. Yeah, the zigzaggy. Whoa. I did hit parry, but I think I was still in the end leg of my last attack. I think I got greedy by throwing out an extra attack there.
I can't fear the Shogun.
Yeah, I know. This is gonna take me a couple tries. Because lethal mode. Okay, slow-mo means counter. That's what that means.
The wounds dealt to my spirit will never heal. Killing me will only
Well, I did what I had to do to save people. Something that I do like about this relationship is like you can absolutely understand where both sides are coming from. It's not like one is inherently right while the other is inherently wrong.
You want revenge? My failure. This is not my revenge.
I do think that Jin is very much an anti-hero kind of archetype. In a sense. Whoa, oh my god, that didn't one-shot me? Oh my god, the music's getting really cool. I need to not be facing that way, so I'm not being blinded by the sun. Just making it possible to see Shimura here. Okay. Dang it, I think I was still in the end leg of another attack. Did hit parry. Oh, and it restarts the music each time. It was just getting to the good part. The music was getting so cool. We have to like build up to that again. Dang it. Whew, I wanted to listen to where it was cool. This is what I wanted to do. Oh, this time's going well. Whoops. I thought I would have gotten the perfect dodge there, so I got ready to counter. I did not get the... Uh-oh. That's not good. Stop spamming it.
The wounds you dealt to my spirit will never heal. Killing me will only make them worse.
It's gotta do something I can parry next. I feel it.
Forgive me, Jin.
Never mind.
I don't want to hurt you.
Whoa, I tried to parry that too. I gotta react to the red faster. That's what I gotta do. Okay, he gets so bloody so fast. Yeah, very much reaction time. This is what the combat of this game is all about.
Killing me will only make
Very much
them worse.
counter-based gameplay. But one that's like really hard on the reaction time. Not one of those games where as long as you can react, it's a freebie each time. Like the America's Assassin's Creed games, for an example. There!
You want revenge?
I need to actually be
Failure.
This is not my
paying really close attention. Getting ready to counter. Okay, not the perfect parry there, but look, the music's getting cool. That means I'm about to die. Is what it means. I like the physics on the leaves as we're walking around here. It's pretty cool. Watch me mess up the perfect dodge. I didn't. I, in fact, did not. Okay. Okay, that one's pretty easy to counter. I can revive one more time if I really need to. Whoa! I guess we traded right there. That or maybe I just hit him without him hitting me. Because I should not have attacked there. That wasn't a perfect dodge.
Honor me with a warrior's death.
What? Kill, honor his wish for death, spare, let him live and walk away. Like, I know that he's all hell-bent on honor, and he's gonna probably be even more pissed off if I spare him. Because this is what he expects here. But, you know, he's an important figurehead here, too. People need him. And he can start a new family and keep Clan Shimura alive instead of having the line end with him. So, like, think of the bigger picture here, dude. Past your own life. Sparing. Well, I have to hold it. Even though this is probably just gonna piss him off in the short term.
I have no honor. But I will not kill my family.
The ghost will be haunted for the rest of his days.
I know.
Mono no Aware trophy earned. Oh, a lyrical piece. I guess that means I cleared it and that this is credits? Presumably. Yeah, Sucker Punch, that's it. So that was Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, I definitely thought that was interesting. It is very much a journey of, like, abandoning what was essentially, you know, his culture, his tradition, his whole belief system about what was right, going down this darker path to do what was necessary. And like I was mentioning during the final battle there, you can absolutely understand, like, both sides. Like, one isn't inherently good while one is inherently evil. Like, between him and his uncle, not between him and the Mongols. Like, you can very much get it and understand why they've kind of been torn apart here by their different belief systems and what they're willing to sacrifice. and really telling lines like you have no honor and you are a slave to it, stuff like that, that hits really hard. So I honestly found it really quite interesting here. Like, I honestly didn't know anything about what to expect from this game going into it. I just kind of wanted to try it out because I'd heard great things about the game. It was a Sucker Punch game, and I was curious about what Sucker Punch is making nowadays. And the new game is coming out this year, so I was like, oh, this is probably a good chance to, like, try this out and see what it's all about. I didn't really know anything about it. I watched, like, one trailer of this game before starting it up. I saw, like, a little bit of the combat. I could not tell for the life of me how it worked from the trailer. So I went in, like, extremely blind. And I actually really quite enjoyed that. Like, when I think about, like, an open world action-adventure game, I'm gonna think of, like, my recent examples of, like, Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla that I have ongoing right now. That just drag on and on and on and do get to, like, some semi-interesting stuff, but it takes so long to get there, and I just don't care about the journey. I was worried that this might be something like that when I saw there was, like, a vast open map to explore. It really was not like that. Like, it actually felt like each mission I was doing was directly influencing the plot that this game was a part of. Like, during each arc, I had, like, the little checklist there of, like, hey, get an army that's gonna help you with this thing. Or, go, like, reunite with your family and get, like, your old armor, stuff like that, where it's, like, it doesn't feel like just padding waste of time nonsense like I feel like is in a lot of open world games. Like, it was just constantly in stuff that I either care about or has, like, a direct influence in the story in some way. Like, the only ones that I feel like didn't really have a direct influence in the story was getting some of my allies of Clan Adachi there, of the land Persona 4, and Sensei Ishii, whatever the heck it was there, the dude with the bow and stuff like that, didn't really feel like it was connected to the story. But it was, like, the inciting event to having them be, like, recurring characters in the story that are helping you out, with you unlocking their quest chains as well, which would be referenced throughout the story, it seems like, if I actually bothered to do their quest chains. So each of them having, like, their own mini plot lines that you can advance, which I think is really cool, and, like, a cool way to handle side quests. Like, there's so many games that just have side quests that are just like, yep, here's some random NPC. Go catch, like, 5 butterflies for this NPC. Or go kill X amount of enemies or whatever, depending on the game. But the fact that a lot of the, like, there are some side quests in this game that are just standalone experiences like that. But a lot of the side quests in this game seem to be, like, the ones that are actually progressing a story. Like, following on the trail of the pupil under Sensei Ishikawa was his name there. And finding that whole group of archers, in memory of the fallen souls who gave their lives in the Battle of Tsushima. That's cool that they put in that note there. Or the stuff going on with Clan Adachi that I kind of forget exactly what it is right now because I never bothered to do more than, like, the first quest. But the fact that those side quests are actually, like, their own mini stories that you progress, as opposed to just, like, completely random disconnected things. I think that's really cool, and I could see myself, like, coming back to this game for fun, just to, like, do some of those quest lines, and see what these mini stories along it are. Because I really like the main story, and I think doing, like, some of those mini stories could be kind of cool there. Some parts of the story were definitely pretty predictable, like, like what had happened to Yuna's brother there, because they were right about to set out. It's just like when someone says they're, like, right away from retirement in, like, a book or movie or anything like that. They were like, yeah, we're about to head out here, and then he's like, hey, I want to help you this one last time before we head out. It's like, okay, he's gonna bite the dust, and this is gonna be, like, motivation. Like, I see it coming, and I predicted there correctly. That many of, like, the quests and stuff, it doesn't seem like there's a massive ton. There is, like, some around the world that you kind of discover as you go around. And I'm not really a big fan of side quests that are just like, hey, by the way, while I have you, can you go collect all this random crap for me? I like ones that feel like you are stumbling, like, right into the middle of a situation. Like when I was exploring around the world, and I made it to this one fox shrine, where it turned out that, like, a lot of the foxes around the shrine had been butchered, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, this is a quest, go kill the people that killed the foxes, and it felt like I really discovered that, and, like, I'm actually having an influence on the world. Like, I've stumbled upon something that just happened, and I'm, like, enacting, like, justice, revenge, whatever you want to call it, on those that did that. Like, it feels like I'm really finding things that are truly happening in the world, as opposed to just like, hey, while I have you, can you go get this item for me? Like a lot of games do with their side quests. Yeah, it's an open world, but not a huge one, and I really like that. Like, you can handle it pretty linearly. I did it mostly linearly, like I was doing a lot of focus on like the main story quests, but I was also taking time to like go around and do some side things, just not like the long side quest chains, but I was going around doing like a lot of question marks, a couple of quests here and there, and I was having fun playing it like that. It's not a terribly long game. This is only stream 4, and I'm at, what, like 25 or something hours here, if I had to guess? Like, it's not something like Assassin's Creed Odyssey that took me 150 hours when you count, like, the DLCs, doing all the endings of the main game and then all the DLCs and doing some side stuff along the way, where it just bloats the playtime. Like, it feels very much like it doesn't waste your time. Like, it can be as open world or as linear as you want it to be. Like, there's a lot of open world games where, sure, you can bum rush the main objective if you want, but for like the next mission, you have to trek all the way across the world to here. And the next mission after that, you have to trek all the way across the world to here. And then there's just so much travel time, and they hope that you're gonna do stuff along the way just because it takes so long to get from point A to point B. Like, there was quite a decent bit of world to explore in this game, but not like overbearingly so. There's so many open world games that just try to see like, how massive of a world that can we make for like marketing so that people are like, hey, there's so much content here. Like, look at all this bang you're getting for your buck, you should totally play this game. This is something that we were talking about during Assassin's Creed Valhalla, just the other day there, where it feels like it's content for the sake of having content. I would much rather have something that is like a much more condensed experience, but more high quality content. And that's honestly what I felt like I was getting from this game. Like, I did very much enjoy what it had to present, and there wasn't any story mission that felt like it was wasting my time. Like, they all felt like they mattered in their own ways, and so I greatly appreciated not having my time feel like it's being wasted in today's day and age where it's like, people are so busy all the time, you gotta make sure you're not wasting their time. But a lot of games just try to like get as many hours of playtime as they can fit in there. And there is like more playtime that I can put into this for sure. Like, there is still a lot of other stuff around the world that I can do, and I appreciate that. But yeah, the main story can be as condensed as you want it to be, or like really take more time with it by doing those other quest lines, and I really quite like that. I quite enjoyed the story and the symbolism behind it. When I saw that there was like the 3 sections of the world, I thought like, okay, this is like the first boss of the first area, is gonna be the Khan, and there's gonna be like a tougher Mongol guy at the subsequent areas. But that wasn't the case. Like, he was the ultimate big bad, and the different arcs of the story played directly into God of War. From God of War, they played directly into, you know, Jin's kind of progression of eventually like fully embracing the ghosts and all that, and abandoning his honor and deciding that he has to do what needs to be done and all that. And I thought that that was really quite cool, as opposed to just like, hey, here's 3 big bads to take down along the way, like I thought they would be at first. And events like the Mongols figuring out your poison after you poisoned a whole bunch of them, showing that if you're doing even more brutal methods, they might figure out how to do it themselves. And now that is now on the playing field. Like, you can't take that away. You can't take that off the board anymore. And is the world better now that that is on the board? You know, stuff like that. That Lord Shimura there was really questioning with Jin. Like, it's not a black and white story by any means, and I quite enjoyed it. Before I keep on rambling here, is there anything else I need to see really quickly? Or is it just go to title screen? Oh. Oh, I've got this red outfit now. I'm drawing on this gift. If I hit move, well, if I hit the left stick, put that down. There's a blade. What's that? My uncle's blade? So I clearly have my blade right here. Examine.
I lived under these banners most of my life.
Where am I at? I'm over here, so not too far away from where I was before. It seems like.
Fallen
Examine.
at my family cemetery. Beautiful. even in death. Taka's trial run, before he made my grappling hook.
All these different memories
He
here.
wanted to disappoint me. And he never did. Kenji's best.
Things
Or
from all
so
the
he
different
tells me.
characters. Oh, is this where all the
Of the
bugs I've
shared
been
sun.
collecting would go?
How long did it take Yuna to make this?
'Cause that looks just like the
I owe
cages
her
of the...
everything. She's the one giving me gifts.
And what am I wearing right now? Is it just a, yeah, that's a ghost armor, now with a red look to it. Interesting. That hat there? No. Can't see that. I guess I can't re-examine
Smells
anything.
Almost sweet. But it's as deadly as any blade. You were faithful to the end, Kage.
Now your sibling will live on.
Yuna's knife. The blade's dull. Can't believe it's still in one piece. For most of my life, I dreamed of being your son.
There's my
Yuko
horse.
helped me pick these for my mother. I can't believe she kept them all these years. First the Mongols, now the Shogun. Never imagined I'd be so popular.
So maybe the Mongols are gone from here, but like maybe the samurai do actually come after me for the sake of having like other enemies in the field. I mean, it would still have to be like Mongols for, you know, these other quest lines and stuff, right? Probably. I don't know.
Hope you find peace, Uncle.
Alright, so that can be said regardless of whether you spared him or killed him. If I'd like 100% the game, does this third slot get filled or what is that?
Twin mountains of Clan Sakai.
Because yeah, so father,
Let my
uncle,
family fade from memory.
and then what is this for? Myself when I die? I think I've inspected all the things in here, it looks like. Oh, something happens when I go out.
Jin, I like your new home. It suits you.
It will have to do, now that Clan Sakai is gone. And I've been branded a traitor.
I heard about your uncle. Will he come for us?
I don't think so. But sooner or later, someone will.
What matters is you're alive. You defeated Khotun Khan and left the Mongols without a leader. The mainland is safe.
But our home isn't. The Khan's forces are stuck here, more desperate than ever to conquer our island.
Then we'd better keep fighting. Sensei Ishikawa is still hunting his student.
Probably wondering what's taking me so long to show up.
Yeah, I was
Maybe
just
must-
thinking that.
Tracking her family's killers. I offered to help.
Yeah, so it's like
She
you can
wasn't
still do those
interested.
plot
She
lines.
shouldn't do it alone. I'll find her. Did you talk to Norio?
He said the monks still need support.
What about you? We still have unfinished business in Otsuna.
We do. Just don't forget. Tsushima needs you.
I'll never forget that.
Good. We'll cover more ground if we split up.
Hit the Mongols from all sides. Take back our home.
Goodbye, Jin. And take care of yourself.
I will.
They seem to get quieter when the camera is farther. I wish it would just stay at the same volume just so that I could hear them better. Traditions End. Is that the name of this location now? Oh, I opened the map and, okay, so there's like a bunch of places that I can go after now. Or I guess that was always the case, but it's just, eliminate the Mongol forces occupying Tsushima. But it's just in like the unmapped areas, so I didn't know where they were before. Duel on the Mirror of Sacred Light replay. Oh, replayable duels and Mongol territories unlocked. Oh, so you can't replay missions, just duels? It'd be cool if you could, like, go into the menu and, like, replay any of the story missions. But the game didn't want to be cool. Yeah, so there's all the other ones that I didn't do that are in areas that I haven't mapped out. I gotcha. So it just shows you, like, where the rest of them were. All this time hidden away after you beat the game. I gotcha. Traditions Ends, that's the name of the location here. New Game Plus unlocked. Okay, for those that want to do that. Handy to have the option. I don't think there's anything else to inspect around here. But I'll check really quickly. Something up here. This leads up really conveniently. Nope, doesn't seem like Quite the humble little abode here, all tucked away. Trees very reminiscent of that final dueling ground, I will say. Alright, so the other aspects of this game here. The music. There isn't really music playing for most of the game. Just kind of, you know, open expanse. I think it would have been nice if there was like some music playing as I was exploring around. So, as I say that, some music starts playing as I'm standing around here. Maybe there was this whole time and I'm just like dumb. I guess it was like very unintrusive. Oh, no, it's playing that same main theme here, I guess, for this location where I'm at. Some of those main leitmotifs. I didn't really have any music that stood out to me until probably about the halfway part of the game, probably until about like the Ghost of Yarikawa mission. That is probably the first time that there was like an actual bit of soundtrack that made me go like, whoa, as we activated the ghost stance for the first time and started really shredding into people there, and the music got all crazy and established like some of these main themes that would be used throughout the rest of the game. And maybe it was used earlier and that I never really noticed. It is possible. I'm sure if I replayed it and now I know like what themes to listen for, I'd probably notice it more. And things like that final battle theme was like that was super epic. That was a really cool theme. I really quite enjoyed it. So some of those main themes throughout this game I really liked and thought that it had like some absolutely amazing music. But yeah, most of the time there wasn't really much of anything playing, so I can't really comment on much else than that. So like the main themes were great, but most of the game isn't really going to be having music that's going to like super stand out to me, I don't think. The art style, like visuals and stuff here, this is like a very visually charming game. And this was a PlayStation 4 game that came to the PlayStation 5 shortly later. Like, this is an enhanced port of a PlayStation 4 game. And this is still, like, beautiful. I don't really see anything wrong with this graphically. Yeah, still better than Breath of the Wild's music. I do agree. It's definitely better than Breath of the Wild's music. Like, the main themes actually stood out a whole lot more in this, to me. But yeah, the game is really beautiful graphically. And then with a new game, Ghost of Yotai, that was actually designed in the first place for PS5 hardware in mind. Maybe it'll look even more bootyful. But yeah, I don't really have any complaints with this game graphically. Yeah, that's what I ask when it comes to that. I usually talk about like under visuals and aesthetics, things like glitches. This game was glitchier than I expected. I will definitely say. This game was probably a bit glitchier than average. Like, it's not like a Bethesda or Ubisoft level glitchy where it's just like constantly. But it happened like somewhat frequently-ish. You know, like there would be glitches and weird stuff happening here and there. It usually wouldn't interfere with gameplay, luckily. Like, luckily it wasn't one of those games that was so dang broken that you struggle to just play it like a Scarlet and Violet or a Ubisoft game in a lot of instances. Like, it wasn't that intrusive and bad, but it is definitely noticeable and does make it feel kind of like a little bit of a lack of polish when I'm getting like weird glitchy kind of stuff going on a lot of the time. Follow the bird! So that part definitely felt a little bit clunky, but it is like a very beautiful game. I don't know where the bird went. I quite like it visually, but I do wish that it wasn't like as kind of buggy. Whoa. I'm here. Omi Monastery is where I'm at. Oh, and that's all like this area here that I guess I never realized. This is what the bird was showing me. Okay. I guess finally to talk about the gameplay. I kind of like how, like, it's a counter-based gameplay, which makes sense for like this style of game. But it's not a counter-based gameplay where you can just turn your brain off. Like, I can deal with that some other time.
A word, please.
Family man. Yeah, I'm not doing that right now. Is there like a hot spring or anything around here? I don't know. I don't know. Here, while this is all going on, where I'm rambling about stuff, I can put on traveler's attire and like run around and stuff. Is what I can do. Or something or other. Sure, go the way that I came from here. Run around, maybe hop on my horse while I'm talking about this here. The first thing that I think of when it comes to counter-based gameplay is some of the older Assassin's Creed games, because that's just like what I'd have the most experience with. So the first thing that I would think about would be like the Americas trilogy, being Assassin's Creed 3, 4, and Rogue. Since like that's how I started playing Assassin's Creed, was with 3 and into 4. And that's why I'd have like the most hours in. Like the Ezio games and the first Assassin's Creed game is very counter-based and do become like very easy once you actually figure out how they work. Like, what was I about to say here? Things like Assassin's Creed 2, some of the enemies would be a little bit tanky, so it would be kind of annoying trying to kill them sometimes, but it was never like hard per se. It was never truly difficult to do so. I don't really want to track that. I guess it counts me as like starting that now. But it was never really difficult. And something like Assassin's Creed 3, 4, and Rogue, like, oh my god, it's just free. Like, enemies will typically attack one at a time. There's a little warning icon above their head, and all you have to do is hit the counter button, and then the attack button. And then there's, like, the tougher foes, where sometimes you have to hit counter, and then the disarm button, and then the attack button, and you've killed them. Like, it's really not hard, and as long as you're successfully countering, like, you're fine. Just like the big warning icon comes up, it gives you like a solid couple seconds to actually hit the counter button. And it's just like, yep, hit this button when the red appears. And that is all like the gameplay really comes down to. So, wow. Even, oh my god, even when people are like shooting you, there's like a warning and you have the option to be using other people as a human shield. So it's just hit the button in time and it gives you like a really big window. So like once you get good at like Assassin's Creed 3, 4, Rogue, you would just like never be taking damage again once you just figure out the like what buttons to press in what order. Because like it gives you so much of a window. Like it's still satisfying combat because like the counter animations are so dang flashy and cool looking. So I do still enjoy the combat of those games just because it's visually satisfying. But it doesn't really engage me in terms of like my own play, you know. So I'm used to a lot of counter-based games that are just like free, just counter in time.
It's over.
But the counter-based gameplay of this, I don't know if it's easier on the lower difficulties, but I needed to actually be engaged with it. And there's like the two possible options of things to do. There's like the dodging and there's the parrying. And I mean, you could dodge in like those Assassin's Creed games as well. I got a bunch of supplies. But there's basically no reason to ever do that. I guess one of the axe swinging attacks, you would want to do that. But I think if you hit the counter button, it still just automatically dodges with that anyway. So it doesn't even matter. So I needed to actually pay attention to like what type of thing I wanted to do in like different scenarios. Like, is this something that I want to parry or is this something that I want to dodge? I mean, I could just dodge all the time anyway, but I would like be whittling it down their stagger meters by parrying. And it just felt like I was getting like more of a window, like more consistently is what it felt like when I was parrying. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but that is certainly what it felt like. Let's fill in this map here, how about? So I'd be incentivized to be parrying when it's possible for me to parry, which wasn't always because of like the red, where it's like, yeah, if an enemy's doing a red attack, you cannot parry them. It is not happening here. So the fact that I need to actually pay attention and like the window to react is a lot shorter, that I need to actually be like actively paying attention. Okay, which of the buttons do I hit here? Am I gonna parry or am I going to dodge? And if I dodge in some instances, I might want to be trying to dodge at the last second, so I get like the perfect dodge timing, and therefore I can counter. Because if I do like a normal dodge, I might not be able to counter. So I need to actually be engaged. I need to actually try. I can't just turn off my brain and play the game. Like, so I was actively engaged. Whoa. Hey. And like, once you get the hang of it, it's not like the worst thing ever. Wow. Like, I was definitely struggling with some groups of foes earlier this stream, but towards the end of the stream, when I was kind of remembering how to play the game again, I was able to deal with, like, bigger crowds a whole lot better than earlier in the stream. I'm sure if I put in a lot more hours in this game, then... What am I at here? I am at 23.5 hours. I'm sure if I put in more hours than that, like, I would get even better and be able to take on, like, crowds of enemies and stuff. Is what I'd probably be able to do. So, yeah, the gameplay isn't, like, impossible. Like, you'll get used to it, you'll get into a rhythm, and then it's, like, not too bad. But even then, it still engages you. You still have to pay attention. You can't just, like, hit a button when the icon appears, you know? So I needed to actually be trying and all that. So at its core, well, I did like the combat. I like the options where it's like, do I want to stealth and what? Our horses are running into one another, and stealth seemed to generally be the way to go. But like miss my chance to do a standoff, or do I do a standoff here, which will give me multiple essentially free kills? Like, which do I prefer here from the two options? I killed the eagle with that somehow. I'm taking your horse now. I can get my digital deluxe horse whenever I want. I don't even know where my digital deluxe horse went. So, I do like the options and the versatility. The bow was really strong in this game. I feel like there's a lot of games that'll have, like, a ranged weapon that just feels like it barely does anything. Just be, like, a method to chip away at guys' health when you don't really have any other option. Or when you're trying to, like, back off and, like, preserve your health a little bit. But this game, like, the bow felt like it actually mattered. Like, it actually made a difference. Especially, like, headshotting dudos and, like, the amount of damage that would do. I don't know how much of that was due to lethal mode and how much, like, was just the way that it was designed. It looks like I can go up this way, so goodbye, other horse. So I actually felt motivated to be using, like, my ranged weapon. When I feel like in a lot of games, I just wouldn't really be. Okay, I can just fully climb up this. So I definitely did appreciate that. And having things like the slow motion and stuff, giving me time to, like, line up my headshots and stuff, I really quite like that. Also, a lot of the time, I really struggle to aim with, like, controllers in a game. What? Where? Who? And if I'm playing, like, a game that's gonna have, like, an emphasis on shooting, I'd play with mouse and keyboard instead. Boobity bop. But in this game, it felt like it really wasn't too hard to aim. Like, whoa. I can see under that rock. A little bit of an oopsie there that I guess was never noticed. Yoink, I'll take those predator hides. But, like, the aiming actually felt, like, really good in this game, even with the controller. Like, I don't know if the dead zones were just, like, put together really well. I mean, when does this start moving? Touching the stick. Not there, not there. Is that a little bit there, or is it deceiving me because of the leaves? It's deceiving me because of the leaves. A little bit more? Okay. So it's not like the slightest touch will move it. There is a little bit of a dead zone. I wonder if I can change that in settings, like, adjust how much of a dead zone it has to be even more accurate. Because there was a couple instances in the playthrough where I wanted to, like, micro-adjust one way or the other. So I'd be pressing the stick in just a little tiny bit, and that wouldn't be enough to actually get the cursor to move. I didn't want to press it too much and then overshoot. Don't quite have, like, the accuracy that you can with a mouse. But for the most part, like, the aiming felt better than in most controller games that I've played. And I don't know what exactly the reasoning for that is. Like, maybe the sensitivity was just set, like, really low or something like that, and I was able to get, like, more accurate aiming. I'm not entirely sure. But, like, the aiming in this game, like, actually felt really good. And with the way that it rewards your aiming, like, it felt good to be doing, like, accurate aiming and getting headshots and stuff. I got another charm slot now. You know, equip an additional charm. So I may as well here really quickly. Of moderate increase the health. Killing enemies restores a minor amount of health. I don't know what I'd do with that. Sure, a moderate increase to health. A charming man trophy earned. I assume that's for, like, having a charm in each slot here. Is what I presume. Whoops, I keep on thinking that that's the gosh dang map. Keep on going around this way, I guess. So yeah, it felt like really good, a lot of the combat here. I really like the movement tools. Like, with the climbing, I feel like it was very evident. Like, I can see a climbing spot right there that maybe I'll even use right now. It makes very clear, like, what's climbable without having it, like, glowing or having, like, yellow paint on it or something like that. And by having only specific spots that you could climb, as opposed to just, like, climb any surface, like modern Assassin's Creed games. Sure, standoff. It could turn, like, some areas into climbing puzzles, like the shrines and stuff that I'll talk about here shortly. So I felt like the way they handled the climbing in here worked well. The grappling hook was incredibly satisfying. I really like the grappling hook. Like, never underestimate the sheer amount of satisfaction that'll come with having a mechanic in a game where you can send out, like, a line and swing back and forth as you please. Like, that is always going to be, like, a super satisfying thing that you can put in your game. And I found it to be very satisfying in this game. He's outie. He's outie. I'll take that arrow. Whoops. I wish I could open the map a little bit earlier there. Dang it. I have to give it more time. There we go. So I really like the use of the grappling hook, and it really is satisfying to be jumping around and grappling around. Like, it kind of reminds me of, like, the satisfaction that I get from the Sly Cooper games to compare it to, like, another Sucker Punch game here. Of, like, doing a double jump and then hitting the circle button to go on to, like, a flagpole or a rope or something like that. That looks like a bear that I can take on over here. Yeah, that is certainly a bear. Oh, the bear is already dead. Yeah, like, the aiming in this game feels really good, as I was just saying. Like, I'm definitely a lot more accurate in this game than most, so they did something well in this game. There you go, Predator hides. Cool.
You deserve the best.
So, yeah, the grappling hook was satisfying in a similar but different way to something like that. Where it's like, yeah, press the button at the right time, kind of gravitate onto an object, swing around, do different things. Like, there's just a sheer level of, like, satisfaction that comes with that I can't exactly describe. It's just really fun and satisfying. In terms of the difficulty, oh my god, that was quite the jump. I really don't like it when games will handle their hardest difficulty as just like, hey, let's just make all the enemies take like literally forever because they are the most insane damage sponges you've ever seen and just make the player die in like 1 to 2 hits. Like, I'm really not the biggest fan of that. I always try to play games on the hardest difficulty on this channel and then kind of review them with, like, the frame of reference being to the hardest difficulty, like, was it well balanced? And as I found out when I looked into it between sessions, easy to hard is just, like, straight progression of, like, you take more damage, the enemies have more health, stuff like that. And apparently lethal mode wasn't in the game, like, when it first launched. You're gonna show me to a thing. Did I ever fully explore the shore here to map it out? I guess that's as mapped out as it's getting, so I'm good there. The lethal mode of this makes it so that, like, you'll get 1 to 2 shot, but so will your foes. So it's kind of like a Persona 5 situation with Merciless, where in that it was like, weaknesses hit for a whole lot more damage, and that goes both ways. Collect. Yuzu Peel, only for the most resilient and robust blades. Cool. I approve here. I'm kind of trying to, like, play while I'm rambling here is what I'm trying to do. So it was kind of like Persona 5 in that it's like, you can absolutely destroy your foes, but they can also absolutely destroy you. It goes both ways. And so you kind of have to balance with the fact that the whole game is now, like, a double-edged sword. That was the only way that I experienced the game. And me playing on Lethal here, like, I thought it seemed, like, really insane. I didn't realize that, you know, you could argue that hard mode is, like, the actual hardest mode if enemies are taking... Reconnection successful. What a time for my internet to die. I guess I can write in chat now, like, can refresh now for anyone that was tuning in there that might need to refresh for the stream to come back up. Right in the middle of my review after finishing the game. I kept on exploring a little bit, like, while the internet was down because fuck it. Yeah, so it might just be you there. Which is just me going from, like, here, around this corner to here. So I was just like, I may as well get some more of the map while this is going on, but paused my review there. Anyway, so, I really, really like it when hardest difficulties, like, actually change the way the game is played. Like, I'll always talk about, like, Last of Us when it comes to that, where it's, like, grounded mode. Like, you get wrecked, you don't have UI, the burden of, like, figuring out what's going on, that is now on you. Like, how much ammo you have, like, how much you need to load. You can check your inventory at any time. Sago Lighthouse, can I do things in these lighthouses? The things where the enemies are? Figure it out yourself. The tools that we normally give you that let you just get this information for almost free, yeah, you don't have those. Figure it out. And it, like, really engaged me to, like, be figuring that out. Can I actually do something at these lighthouses? Synchronize. Whoa. Time to synchronize this viewpoint. Ignite lighthouse fire. Time to synchronize. Hell yeah! What does this actually do? I think I only did the ones that I needed to as part of the story. I don't actually know what they do, quite frankly. Did that do a thing? I saw that torch disappear. Made my legend go up a little bit. So enemies are still tanky enough to pose a challenge in that aspect. Enemies that they still take 3 to 4 hits, depending on the enemy type. So the enemy ones that were, like, super big and bulky are the ones that were covered, like, head to toe in armor. would take, like, many hits and take a while to whittle down like they would realistically, because they're covered in, like, a bunch of armor and stuff. I don't actually know what lighting that did. It's labeled as complete. I don't know what that does. But, like, the regular guys that were just wearing, like, some light armor or barely anything, 1 or 2 slashes, they'd be dead. Like, archers that aren't wearing all that much stuff, 1 or 2 slashes and they're dead. Get almost anybody with a headshot, and, like, they're dead. Like, that's how it goes. So it felt, like, very realistic in that sense. Felt like the realistic kind of difficulty, and I actually quite appreciate it and would stay engaged with it. Are these, like, allied guys here? Barra Ridge. I would hope that they are or something. Look, nice looking area here. So I think having a difficulty mode where it's like, hey, they can absolutely wreck you, but you can absolutely wreck them back, was pretty engaging, because it's like, any given guy, like, isn't going to take too long for me to take out, just, like, stay committed to them, depending on, like, how much armor they have. But I can also get wrecked, so do I feel confident in my ability to deal with them, or should I, like, hang back and, like, go for headshots, because that was a very great way to go, it seemed like. I guess I can go back around here and then go through this area or something, I don't know. Let's just ride through here for now, I guess. This is what I'll do. So, I actually really quite liked lethal difficulty here. I don't know if headshots would always kill on, like, the lower difficulties, or if that's a lethal difficulty thing, but either way, I quite liked how that was the case, and it was very rewarding to be using the bow in this game because of that. Yeah, overall, I mostly liked lethal difficulty. For the most part. I do wish that there was, like, a training mode in this game. Like, when I played the training mode of Final Fantasy 16, that has got to be, like, one of the best training modes I've seen in a single-player game in, like, a long time, maybe ever. Because, like, some of the things that you could toggle on was things that helped with your timing. There was things that you would need to do with, like, precise timing. Like Magic Burst, for example, or Torgal Sick, where you sick your Wolf Doggo Dudo at, like, the end of a combo with certain timing. But during normal gameplay, it could be hard to figure out, like, what the optimal timing is. But in training mode, you could toggle on, like, a little icon on the bottom of the screen that would show you what the timing is. So, like, when the icon flashes is when you're supposed to press the button. And because of that, I was able to figure out, like, the Magic Burst and the Torgal Sick timing without too much difficulty, because the training mode was so supportive of letting me figure out how that worked. The timing, there were definitely some sensitive timing things in this. What with, like, parries, perfect dodges, and the like. And apparently it's even harder in lethal difficulty. Apparently that's another thing that lethal difficulty changed. Is it, like, reduced the window that you had for a perfect parry and a perfect dodge. And maybe just parrying and dodges in general, I don't know. But something or other like that, it changed. So it would have been cool to have, like, a training mode that would just have, like, a bunch of enemies attacking me. And then it has, like, a little icon flash that shows when you're supposed to hit the button. Because when you're supposed to hit the button in this game felt different than a lot of games that I'm used to, as I've said a few times here. Like, a lot of games that I play, they'll, wah. Well, some hides and stuff there. A lot of games I'd play, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla, to cite some recent examples, if you're dodging or parrying, you basically do it, like, right when the enemy's about to hit you, like, right at that point of the swing. Right when they're, like, there, you hit it. Whereas in this game, it felt like you had to hit it a decent bit earlier. Even with, like, the perfect timing, to an extent. Like, it's just a little bit different timing than I'm used to. Like, when I think about the perfect parry, maybe it is about the same time as those other games. And maybe it also changed the moment that I equipped this, where it, like, extends the window that I have available. So I don't know how much of an influence that has, but I do just wish there was a training mode that let me figure out, like, for sure, at what point in the enemy's attack do I need to hit this? At what point does it go from a regular parry to a perfect parry to a failure and I just got hit? Is what I definitely would have liked to have known. So I think the game would have definitely benefited from a training mode. I do also wish the game had, like, mission replayability. Like, it's cool that you can go around and replay duels whenever you want. Cannot fast travel during combat, what? Like, it's cool that you can go replay duels wherever a duel is that I did. Duel on the Mirror of Sacred Light. I guess it won't let me replay it right now anyway, because I'm apparently in combat. So it's nice that you can redo that or redo forts, because those can be fun, like taking on like groups of enemies. So it's not like one of those games where you don't have anyone to fight anymore. That was a problem that I had with Watch Dogs 1, where after you took down like every base, did every mission, there was literally nothing for you to like fight in the world anymore, or anywhere to sneak around. The only guys that you could fight anymore were the cops if you decide to do that. And like for what? Literally no real reason to do that. And you couldn't ever do like sneaky stuff around again, like infiltrating a base. So you couldn't be doing those. So I'm glad that this game has like replayability. Wow. With the forts and the duels. But it would be nice if there was like a list of like all the missions and you could replay like any of the story missions. Maybe replay any of the story missions at your current strength and then like really try it out. The new stuff that you've been getting here. Yeah, so just 3 hits on that dudo there. Like, I know that there's New Game Plus, so you basically can redo the missions at your current strength anyway. But what if you don't want to do like a New Game Plus for doing that? And you just want to like replay a mission that you really enjoyed. Like the Ghost of Yarikawa mission that was really cool. Or like the final one against like the Khan Mongol dudo. Stuff like that would probably be really fun to replay, or if you want to try them on like different difficulty settings. So it would be nice if that was a feature there. I definitely would have appreciated that. Yoink yoink. Anything else when it comes to like the menuing and stuff here? I like how there's points to assign, but it doesn't feel like there's like a bazillion things to fill out. I still don't have this. This has got to be a DLC thing then. This has got to be a thing with like Icky Island or whatever it's called. I have the 1 point there. It's got to be something new with that then. I was waiting to get this like all story long. But like there is a decent amount of skills in this game, but not like overwhelmingly so. There's a lot of games that just like have like a bazillion skills everywhere and kind of overwhelm you, I feel like. Or display them in a really awful way. Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I think it's really charming how all the skills are displayed in like a constellation and stuff like that, and you're filling out like the constellations and the stars to get the different skills. Like that is very visually satisfying. So like the UI is great, but the UX is awful, the user experience. Holy crap. Because it sucks trying to find anything when you have to like scroll around, like where it's like there's a skill here, a skill here, a skill here, a skill here, rather than it being like an exact list. And then I'm like, what were the skills again? And then I have to like track down finding all of them, remember which ones that I hovered over before, checking them. There's probably ones that I missed, like I missed the extra adrenaline slots for a long time there. This is like just like a core handful of things. And it feels like very easy to understand, like, hey, here's these abilities, here's the enhancements for it. Here's your ghost abilities that you unlock as it goes on. And it didn't feel overwhelming because you only unlock these like one at a time as you're going on. And it didn't feel like there was like a meta order to like the order that you unlock these. Like it didn't feel like you'd be crippled without any one of them. But they are all helpful things. And by unlocking them like bit by bit, it means that you're not dealing with like so many mechanics being thrust on you at once. It's just like, hey, I just unlocked this new thing. I may as well play around with it gradually as it went on. So yeah, the upgrades for it, upgrades for the different stances that I didn't really mess around with all that much. And then just some very basic kind of stuff here. Like nothing super crazy. So more of like a core handful of skills, and I kind of appreciate that. It wasn't like overwhelming with all sorts of random crap like some games definitely are. So I greatly appreciated that. In terms of stuff to do in the open world, for like really large scale open world games, the first ones of those that I probably would have played would have been things like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Valhalla, Origins. Like I played open world games before that point, like Xenoblade Chronicles X is a pretty massive one, for example. But ones with like the sheer scale of Origins and Odyssey and Valhalla and stuff like that, those are probably like my first experience with something that insanely massive. And like, again, they are very much inflating their playtime with you being expected to do like a whole bunch of stuff, like as you're going from point A to point B, finding stuff to do there. Whoa. That was as fast as let me move the thing to the right. Wish it let me move it a little bit faster, but that's maybe why the aim is also so good. It's because of low sensitivity or something or other. And it felt like there was just like so much stuff. And the stuff that I didn't really care about like, I began caring about it because it was satisfying to fill out, like, the question marks on the map and all that. Just out of, like, my natural gamer instincts here to be doing that before I realized, like, the sheer scale and the pointlessness of it. But, like, the things that it would be giving you is just, like, you know, armor that's around your current level and is gonna be, like, invalid pretty soon after anyway. If it even is better than your current stuff, maybe you just, like, break it down into materials. And, like, minuscule amounts of EXP. And I did initially care about the minuscule amounts of EXP, because I would be unlocking, like, the other cool new skills as I level up. But eventually I just didn't really care about it as much anymore, and then I didn't feel like going and doing the question marks, because all it would do is give me, like, another little smidge of EXP. Like, there wasn't really variety in the rewards for going around and doing, like, the question marks. It was just a little smidge of EXP, maybe a couple items that I'm not really gonna care about. In Valhalla, I guess there's also, like, the added perk of, like, supplies and stuff that helps you build up your Animal Crossing village. But, like, I don't really care that much about the Animal Crossing village, because, like, half of them are just, like, basic facilities that, you know, well, half of them are facilities that I can actually interact with directly, where it's like they serve some sort of function, and there's, like, a few handful of them that are really key, and I get, like, really early on in the game, and then, like, that's it, they're sorted. Don't have to worry about that ever again. And then a decent handful of them are, like, facilities that I'll maybe be using once or twice in, like, the entire playthrough if I'm playing casually, but otherwise not really care about. And then, like, a solid half of them, at least what it feels like so far, improve some niche buff that most players of the game don't even, like, make use of. Where it'll improve some buff where you can go to, like, the mess hall, ring a bell, pay some money, and get a feast buff for an unspecified amount of time that give you, like, some minor upgrades if you built those facilities. Like, I just don't really care all that much. Odyssey has to have some of the most tanky enemies I've ever seen outside of maybe Hyrule Warriors at a high difficulty, but those at least don't pose much threat. That's true. I think the most tanky enemies I think I've ever seen is probably Near Replicant hard mode. this is what it probably is, because yikes. But yeah, they are definitely up there, especially the bosses. Like, my goodness gracious. But yeah, so I didn't really care all that much about EXP up to a certain point, especially as I started getting, like, the skills that I actually cared about, and it's like, okay, why do I need the more EXP anymore? And you might ask, like, oh, you can still, like, increase your level, and then you're stronger, and then you can take on, like, enemies better. But only up to a certain point, because while enemies can be higher level than you in Odyssey, they can't be lower level than you. So if there's a level 20 area and you just reached level 21, congrats, that level 20 area is now a level 21 area. And, like, that is now the case for the entire rest of the game. So you can't ever become, like, over-leveled to help you through the rest of the game. Like, that is just not possible. Wow. I'm out of arrows here, I guess. So I just didn't really want to go do question marks when it's like, hey, what's the point? Oh, I'll get one shot there. Like, I'm just gonna get a little bit more experience when I already have, like, the skills that I truly care about. And, like, the enemies are gonna come to be, like, the same level as me anyway, so, like, why would I bother with, continuing to gain levels there? Whoops, well, I guess I'm doing this again. Sucks to suck. Okay. Almost getting another point here. Really soon, grab a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, I have a bunch of arrows again, that's nice at least. Let me go ahead and put back on my... Oh, that's already on there. But the question marks in this, like, actually buff you in, like, specific ways that I care about, as opposed to just, like, generic EXP. It's like each of them grants their own unique kind of buff. Basically had to kick them off cliffs. Worst level scaling than Skyrim. Yeah, I did have to do a lot of kicking off cliffs. Plus, it was also just really satisfying to kick people off cliffs. So I did a whole lot of that because, yeah, when I can just, like, kill them in one hit with a kick, as opposed to, like, wailing on them for, like, 3 years with my weapons, kicking off cliff is, like, the best way. So I was always on the lookout for cliffs there. Plus, my sound effects I rigged up were funny. Skyrim level scaling already doesn't feel great. I only have 10 hours in Skyrim, so I don't know that much about it. But I've heard that, like, some Bethesda level scaling, a lot of people aren't, like, the biggest fans of it. Is what I have definitely heard. But with this game, because everything buffs you in, like, its own way, it feels a lot more justified, I guess would probably be, like, the right word here. Meaningful, maybe, might be another good way to describe it. And, like, it can still be fun going to, like, the different question marks, seeing what they are, and being like, hey, this is gonna buff me in this way. And I liked how each of them was interactive in, like, a very different way. Like, in things like Odyssey, I feel like, I can't talk all that much about Valhalla yet, because I'm not, like, super deep into it yet, but Odyssey is, like, my most recent example that I can draw on here. It felt like question marks were either get the treasure that's here, and, like, the items, or kill the guys in the camp. Like, that felt like it was basically the two things that it had on offer. And I guess, like, synchronization points for, like, the eagle spots on the map. But not really a whole lot more than that is what it felt like. But here, the different buffs are things like follow a fox to the shrine, follow it from the den to the shrine, and it's going to increase your charm slots, which now I've maxed out. And I've heard that apparently if I keep on doing the rest of them, then they'll start giving me new charms, and those charms will have their effects be buffed up as I continue to do more of these shrines. So it is still worth doing from that perspective. Plus, you can also, like, pet the fox after in some of these instances, and they're, like, super cute. Go to these, and you get, like, new weapon skins, if you want to make your weapons look a little bit different. The haikus felt like the least impactful. Like, the haikus and the weapon skins. Like, that isn't really something that you interacted with, you just, like, collect it when you're there. Like, the haikus didn't really feel like they were contributing to anything that, like, helped me get stronger, but I still feel like they were really charming, having you sit down at, like, a really beautiful cinematic spot and kind of choose, like, which of the options you want to have for your haiku. And while I'm not really using the headbands, like, all that much, thinking about it all that heavily, because it's only armor that actually affects things, and these is just, like, for visual's sake, I really like how, like, the haiku that you made stays on it. Yeah, so these are the different haikus that I made, so it feels like it has an impact, and I'm actually thinking about, like, what sounds the nicest here, as it shows, like, the really cinematic camera shots and stuff like that, and I'm getting, like, these headbands that have that, like, permanently ingrained, so it feels like the thing that I do in the haiku actually has, like, a permanent effect. So, even if they felt, like, not as impactful as the other things that gave direct buffs, I like how what they did had, like, a permanent impact on this gear with, like, the description. It feels like what options you went with mattered, is what it felt like. Hello, Delta thing. Also avoiding sleep, maybe a little smidge here. I beat the game. I'm just in the middle of, like, my full review here right now, because there's a lot that I wanted to say about this game, so I'm just exploring around, doing random stuff, and, you know, talking about it. Was that the name of an area in Pokemon, or am I getting mixed up with, like, Serena, and there being, like, Force that sound similar to that? I don't know. I might be losing my mind. So there's those. There's the hot springs, where you get to experience peak right off the bat without having to go, like, 60 hours into a 70-hour JRPG to see characters strip down and go into the hot spring. You can just see Jin just go right at it. And, like, those will improve your maximum HP, so it's like, okay, well, have more health. I may as well dip in here really quickly. And being able to see kind of what's on Jin's mind at the time, where it's like, choose which of the two things you want to reflect on, and then he'll share, like, some of the stuff that's on his mind at the time. I think that that's a cool way to get, like, a little bit more insight to what's going on while also giving you a health buff. And none of those things I've listed take all that much time. Like, I swear, there are times in Odyssey where I get to, like, an area and it's like, find the treasure chest, and I run around for, like, 10 minutes trying to figure out where this treasure chest is, or it's like, I figure out where it is, but I don't know how to get there. I've encountered that issue in Valhalla as well, where I see there's a treasure chest underground there, and it's like, okay, how do I get there? Where's the staircase leading there? Where's the secret entrance? Like, these just kind of get right onto it, is what it's like here. A mystery dungeon? What, for, like, trying to find the loot and stuff? The type of question mark around the world that I want to talk the most about, though, is the shrines. So, you go up to the shrine and you get a new charm, but, like, the main path up to the shrine is destroyed at each of these places, and you have to figure out, like, how to platform up. And, like I mentioned earlier in the playthrough, it felt very much like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood or Revelations, where the first engine used for the Assassin's Creed games was used for the first to the fourth games. So Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations is what the original engine was used for. There, all mapped out and stuff. Let's go do this question mark now. And while the parkour definitely got more flashy in the later games, it definitely did not get better in terms of, like, what you could do in your options. Why is the camera so dang close to me? How do I make it not be so dang close? Like, while it looks like very bare bones and basic kind of climbing in the first 4 games, you actually had, like, a lot of different options and things that you could do. Like, I bet very few players knew that if you're going underneath, like, a hanging bar while you're riding on your horse, you can grab onto that bar, swing up, and, like, land on it with your feet. Like, there's all sorts of little things like that the game never really forces you to learn and, like, not a lot of people know about. Or the fact that since you can't climb every wall in that game, like you can in, like, the modern Assassin's Creed games, you would sometimes go up to a wall, do the little climbing up it, and fall down to show that you can't do it. But from that little climb-uppy thing, you can do a side eject from there. So, like, the only thing that the game really shows you, I think, is, like, being on a ledge already, and, like, side ejecting from there. I can't even side eject in this game. I can only go to, like, the things that, the game already has for me, I guess. But you can just, like, start going up a wall that you can't climb, and then side ejects from there left and right. And you can do, like, some different platforming things from there with the side ejects, the back ejects. There were definitely options there. And because of, like, the options that the developers put in, it was with Brotherhood and Revelations that they decided that they were going to use that as, like, a puzzle element to figure out, like, how to climb certain things. Like, you find, like, a synchronization point in the modern Assassin's Creed games, and it's just like, yep, just climb, and you've got the synchronization point. Ow. Because you can just climb basically any surface in those games, because you have, like, the craziest magnet hands ever, I guess. But in the older games, while I'm sure a lot of players might have seen it as, like, a little bit more annoying, not being able to climb everything, and needing to actually think sometimes about how they were going to get up to a location, it would make it be a little bit more rewarding to having reached that. Like, you had to actually think out and analyze and be like, what can I climb? Where are the hand-holdy points? And stuff like that. And it's especially with Brotherhood and Revelations, with the dedicated segments that were platforming puzzles. At least I think that there was platforming puzzles in Brotherhood. Like, I could be completely losing my mind here, because it's been a hot second. I know Revelations for sure had them, because they were, like, leading up to some of the Altair discs, I'm pretty sure. And I forget what I was collecting in Brotherhood that had, like, platforming puzzles. But it's like, you'd go embark on this mission, and it would teleport you to the dungeon, essentially, where you would do this platforming puzzle, where Ezio arrives in, like, this big building, and you have to complete, like, the platforming puzzle to make it to the end, using those tools that the developers had given you. Is this a shrine here? What did I just make it to here? Yeah, I made it to a shrine here that's gonna give me a defense charm. And this will really accentuate my point when it comes to the stuff that I'm talking about here in terms of platforming puzzles. And you just never really got that in, like, another Assassin's Creed game ever again after Revelations. Like, that's the last game that seemed to use platforming puzzles. And the parkour was, like, heavily simplified down in, like, the later games. And a lot of the later games sure made it look, like, flashier, more visually satisfying. But there's not really that many options when it comes to, like, platforming in Assassin's Creed anymore, it feels like. It's just go up, go down. As opposed to, like, the more advanced tools that experienced players can make use of in the first 4 games that I really liked. And because, like, the platforming was dumbed down, there's no reason to have, like, platforming puzzles anymore. And, oh, the shrine's over there. I gotcha. And so they just didn't really make use of platforming puzzles ever again. And that is something that I kind of miss sometimes with the later Assassin's Creed games. They just want you to be able to get right to it, which, hey, it can be nice to get right to it, but sometimes it's also nice to be able to, like, put thought into things and make it feel like I really earned my way to the end and to that reward by using, like, my knowledge of the platforming systems. But, like, this game seems to kind of have that, in a sense, where it's like each of these shrines, the main way up has been destroyed, and you gotta look around for what the way to actually get up is. I think I honestly prefer the platforming puzzles in Brotherhood and Revelations over this, because there isn't really any advanced tools that you have to use to get to your destination. It's just kind of like keep an eye out and see what, like, the next way forward is. Like, I really liked being able to do things like the start climbing up a wall that you can't truly climb and, like, side eject onto a ledge, climb up a little bit, back eject onto another ledge, you know, stuff like that. That was really satisfying to do. this doesn't really seem to have advanced platforming techniques. Just kind of like aim the way you want to go, jump, occasionally grappling hook, which is, again, like very satisfying to grappling hook. Oh, these flowers. This is more about observation than it is about, like, more advanced platforming techniques. But it's still pretty fun and makes it feel like I'm actually working to make it up to the top. And it is very reminiscent of, like, Brotherhood Revelations platforming puzzles that the Assassin's Creed series is just, like, completely abandoned after that point. Like, I do wonder if these kinds of shrines to do around the world are inspired by, like, at least partially, by, like, Brotherhood Revelations kind of platforming puzzles, potentially. Or even just, like, platforming puzzles in, like, the Sly games that Sucker Punch would have previously worked on. I was there earlier. So maybe... would this just be for flowers? Is this a dead end? Oh. I don't think I'm grabbing onto that branch again. So there's probably something from here. So, yeah, doing these shrines definitely makes me very nostalgic for Brotherhood Revelations platforming puzzles. Like, there's a lot of ways that this game feels like playing an Assassin's Creed game. Sneaking around in the bushes, assassinating people, sometimes using ranged options and some other tools here. When it comes down to it, doing, like, 1v1 combat. Like, I'm sure that that can be used to describe, like, a lot of games. But it's especially when I'm crouching around in bushes, assassinating dudos, and seeing, like, the enemy detection stuff coming up for if they're truly noticing me. That makes me really feel like I'm playing something like an Assassin's Creed game. But this feels like what an Assassin's Creed game should feel like if it was, like, higher quality, more fleshed out, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'll take, like, the other route here this time. And this makes me feel like what I would want from, like, future Assassin's Creed games. Because, like, so many Assassin's Creed games I feel like are just, like, so stale and stagnant now and so much of the same thing. And, like, the big open world RPG ones that I've been playing lately, just being filled with, like, so much bloat of, like, the same kind of thing that I get kind of tired of. Whereas this being, like, a more condensed experience, while also doing a lot of things I wish the other games would do. Like, having more meaningful rewards around the world that buff me in, like, unique ways instead of just, you got a little smidge more EXP points. Having things like these platforming puzzles, slash just observing the way forward, I guess, that the Assassin's Creed series has been too afraid to ever do again after Revelations for some reason. So many elements like that. Having to think a little bit more in combat. Like, I do have to think a little bit more with Valhalla now than I did with Odyssey, since there's, like, the stamina meter that I have to pay attention to, so I can't quite turn my brain off to the same degree. But I still feel a lot more engaged with the combat of this game than I do to Valhalla. I definitely feel a lot more engaged compared to Odyssey. Is the case. Definitely a whole lot more than something like the Americas trilogy. Well, I was floating a little bit over that there. Like, the Americas trilogy would keep me engaged in the combat, just purely because of, like, how flashy and amazing the combat animations were, that they were so visually satisfying. Not because I needed to use, like, more than 2 brain cells to be able to actually engage with the combat systems. Wait, look at that. Platforming puzzle to the end. Time to get another disc that's gonna show Altair's memories to Ezio. And get some supplies along the way. Yoink. Honor the shrine. Consider it honored. There's some wood there that I could grab if I really want to. And just having, like, so many of these camera shots behind, like, these question marks that you're doing around the world that makes you really take in how beautiful the world is. Like, and things like Assassin's Creed Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla. The world is, like, very beautiful. And I really like how the synchronization points really take in, like, how beautiful the world is. But none of the other question marks really do that. It's just like, go fight these guys, go find this treasure. Rather than having something like this that makes it feel like you're experiencing, like, a cool cinematic thing. Perks and abilities that terrify are 25% more likely to occur. Ooh. I assume that's just on top of, like, their current thingamabob. So, with the final up... oh, I can switch, right on the fly. That's cool. What the heck? I wanted to see, view upgrades. This. No, not Traveler's Attire. The Ghost Armor, view upgrades. Kills have a 30% chance to terrify a nearby enemy. So what did it say? It increases it by 50%? So I'd bring it up to, like, 45%? Or something or other here? 25% more likely to occur. Okay, so a fourth of 30% would be, what the heck is a fourth of 30%? 7.5%? I guess. Yeah, 7.5%. So that would be 37.5% chance of like terrifying enemies then, or something or other. And if I put on more things with chance of terrifying, then I'd be terrifying people a whole bunch of the time, I guess. I don't know. I don't know here. So yeah, I really liked a lot of the things that this game did with its stuff around the world. What else is stuff around the world that I can talk about here? I like the fact that you can upgrade your gear and that it's just like not going to be replaced over time. Serenus Forest is apparently a nation in FE. Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of here. Serenus Forest is like a really nice resource for Fire Emblem players like me that want to pull up like stats and growth rates and stuff like that. Because Serenus Forest is the name of a website that has like a bunch of Fire Emblem content as a reference to that part of Fire Emblem is where they got the name from. I don't know. I haven't played the game that has Serene Forest or Serenus Forest or whatever the heck. Whatever it be. Oh, I could just send the shrine right there. Maybe I will in a second here. Whoa, my God, what have I done? Alright, I'm not getting that wood. Sucks to suck for me. Where did it checkpoint me? Please put me to, like, the top here. It put me to here. Whoops, I keep on thinking that that's the map. Here, let's just do this and it'll bring me to the bottom. There we go. That's what I'll do. So yeah, really enjoyed a lot of the side things in this game. They felt a lot more worthwhile than a lot of other open world kind of slop that I've played. Like using Assassin's Creed as an example there. If I can cite another Ubisoft big open world thingamabob here, Watch Dogs Legion. What the hell do I even do on the side in that game? I genuinely don't even remember. Like, I remember what I did on the side in Watch Dogs 1, with, like, the criminal convoys, the gang hideouts, like, the finite set of missions that are, like, actually handcrafted missions to do on the side. The races around the world, stuff like that. I don't even remember what the heck there was in Watch Dogs Legion. Heck, I faintly remember what I would do in Watch Dogs 2 of, like, getting skill points by, like, infiltrating with, like, my drone and my RC car and stuff like that, I think. I don't really remember a whole lot else from Watch Dogs 2. I feel like the games got a lot more generic as it went on, and felt a lot more like just missions around the world rather than like an actual story that you were experiencing after Watch Dogs 1. And yeah, I couldn't even tell you what the hell I was doing on the side in Watch Dogs Legion. Getting more of those like green points, whatever the heck they were. I don't remember what they did. I think I invested them for like skills or something or other. I don't know. There, I got a banner. That's what I got. I'll go do this and wrap things up. Oh, there's another question mark, I guess, over here. I think I've probably mentioned everything that I wanted to say about this game. This isn't the end of the playthrough. There is more content. Because while the game originally came out on PS4, it later came out on PS5, the version that I'm playing right now, Director's Cut. And it added this here. New content unlocked. Complete journey into the past to reach this area. So that's like this quest here. So I do this and I can go to Iki Island. Because apparently, like, some Mongols invaded there as well, historically, I found out. It's like, mainly invaded Tsushima is, like, the bigger island, but just behind it and, like, closer to mainland Japan was Iki Island. So, there's a little DLC adventure there, too, of something or other. Apparently, it's, like, a 5-hour-long DLC, so there's still more content to do. So, apparently, this release, like, built into the Director's Cut PS5 version, but if you played, like, the PS4 original, you could purchase this content as, like, a DLC. But buy the PS5 version like I did, and it's just, like, built in. Is how it worked. As a way to, like, further advertise the Director's Cut. I am glad that's not, like, a Persona 5 Royal situation, where it's just like, yep, you gotta buy a whole nother version of the game, and start from the beginning again, if you want to experience the new content. Like, that just would really, really suck for those that played the original game and are like, man, if I just waited, I would have been able to experience the better game here. So it is nice that there is the option, if you have the original, to still be able to play the new stuff. Maybe Atlas can learn a thing or two here. Yeah, it did also change the story in some ways, to be fair. But, like, it still would have been cool if you could download, like, the royal content, and then you can choose at the beginning of the game whether you want to start, like, a P5 file or a P5R file. And this is another thing around the world that I forgot to mention, like the bamboo strikes, where they'll increase your resolve. And resolve is real important here. Of like, can you hit the buttons fast in time? Well done, you cut through 5 bamboo. Then this one's always the hard one. Oh, okay. Oh my god, first try. Like, those are kind of fun. And then I'm gonna be able to, like, increase my resolve points, and resolve is, like, real important here and stuff. So, like, having a little mini game out of that one is kind of fun. Like, those and the shrines are a mini game in different ways. The outposts are, like, outposts, evidently. Taking on Mongols and doing, like, mini levels, essentially. And then things like the haiku and the hot springs being, like, different things that you want to reflect on while giving you different things. And then the fox dens being, like, follow the cute fox and maybe pet it afterwards. And stuff like that. Ow. Like, I know that you could argue that everything is a little bit different in something like the question marks of Odyssey and Valhalla, where it's like, where could the chest be this time? Whereas this, it's more of, like, the same idea of just a bunch of bamboo strikes, a bunch of shrines, a bunch of fox dens, a bunch of haikus. But I still don't feel myself getting, like, as tired of them. It could also be because I'm only, like, 25 hours into this game, and it's just, like, a lot shorter, a lot less stuff to do than, like, a super ludicrous, massive open world game. I don't know. But yeah, let's see here. Ending even changes. The only way to see the original ending is to do another playthrough where you don't befriend Maruki. Yeah, Atlas definitely isn't the best when it comes to handling their multiple versions, I would say. Is what I would argue here. They're not exactly the best at it. So yeah, overall, I did not think that this was a perfect game. There's definitely things that I would change. But this is a lot better than I thought it would be. Again, like, I went into this, like, mostly blind. And I was just like, hey, I heard that this game was good. This game is made by Sucker Punch, who I have a lot of respect for. And a new game is coming out this year, so I may as well try this out to see if I like it before the new one comes out. And I ended up really, really liking this game. Whoa. Here, go down this way. I feel like this is genuinely, like, some of the most fun I've had playing a game on this channel in a decent while. It could also be because I've been playing a whole bunch of crap that takes, like, forever and bores the hell out of me along the way. Like some of the recent Assassin's Creed games. Or I just recently finished Persona 3. I think that was the thing that I did the other day here. Was finishing off Persona 3 Reload. After 200 hours. Because I was playing the hardest difficulty and I was grinding for, like, the ultimate build so I could take on the super bosses and stuff. Yeah, pain. So just having, like, a medium-length game here where it's not, like, super short, where I finish it in, like, 1 or 2 streams, like, it has a decent bit of meat to it, and if I really want to get into it, it has, like, a bunch of side content meat, but, like, the core experience is, like, just a really nice short to medium kind of length. Just being, like, a really well-crafted experience that doesn't waste my time. And, like, that core experience actually being, like, really quite good and enjoyable. And now, after playing this, it makes me genuinely excited to see what Ghost of Yotai is all about. It'll be interesting to see how they handle the story, when this one was all about, like, hey, you were a samurai, but you're kind of abandoning the way of the samurai and your honor to become the ghost. So, like, they've got to do something different in the next one, right? Surely. So it'll be interesting to see what the plot of the new game is. Persona 4 is fine. The ending is completely the same with Persona 3 FES, though it added a poopy epilogue, but we don't talk about that with Persona 3 or I presume there. All right, that dude's big chillin' there. Predator hides. What kind of stuff is here? Oh, I guess one other thing I can note. I wish that there was some way to, like, farm infinite of these different resources around the world. Apparently, there's only, like, so many. But, like, it should be enough to, like, upgrade most of your stuff anyway. Oh, yeah, that's another thing that I didn't talk about was, like, the upgrades. There's so many games where I'm like, oh, I could upgrade, like, my weapon. But do I really want to? Because what if I just get a better weapon later? Whereas with this game, it's like, yeah, you may as well upgrade your crap because that's all you're getting of it anyway. So I don't have to worry about, like, wasting putting an upgrade into this, because I know that this is all I'm getting here. Like, I can make it look different with, like, the weapon skins and stuff, but I don't have to worry about wasting upgrades like I do in, like, there's so many other games where I'm constantly worried about that. Or things like upgrading armor. Sure, there's lots of different armor types, but they're all unique in different ways. They all have, like, different skills, and which one you want to have on can very much depend on the situation. So, if you upgrade, like, some particular armor type, it's not like it's going to waste because there's something just inherently better. There's just things that are different is all that you know, which ones you want to use might depend on your playstyle or the different situations that you're in, and I quite like that. But that said, Persona 4 still has the problem of, to experience the new stuff, you do have to befriend 2 different people, but it's still the same ending as the original. Okay. There, have him see me a little bit so he actually comes in here, and then I assassinate him out of sight. Is what I do. I really like all the different tools in this game. I wasn't exactly the best in this playthrough at switching on the fly. Again, if this was like a longer game, I would have gotten a whole lot better at like switching here, like on the fly. Would have definitely been the case. But being able to like do it like pretty quickly in the heat of combat, I think was pretty nice by having these things like assigned to face buttons so that you can do a quick switch without doing like a longer menuing kind of sequence to be able to do it. So if you have in the back of your head like what buttons you have to quickly hit to be able to do a thing, like let's say I want to use explodey arrows, there, explodey arrow. Let's say I want to use like a regular half bow arrow, there's that. Let's say I want to use firecrackers, oh there we go, there's firecracker equipped. Like that kind of menuing is just like really good when things are just assigned onto different buttons rather than you need to like scroll across different things. So I thought the UI of this game was really good. And speaking of UI, minimalistic UI. Like when you're actually in combat or doing something like here, if I'm interacting with like my different items here, then obviously it's gonna show that there. If I'm getting ready to fight, then obviously it shows the stuff in the bottom left of like my health, my resolve, my ammo there, like necessary stuff. And then like the really tiny thing in the bottom right corner of like my current stance, that's good to know, and like what my progress is to my ghost stance, like good things to know. But like it's very unintrusive. It doesn't take up very much of the screen. And then normal gameplay just having no UI at all, like that, and just being able to like truly take in the world and observe rather than it being filled with like a whole bunch of crap. I really quite like that, so props to the UI designers. Are you gonna come in here now too? Come inside. Come inside here. So yeah, just overall, wasn't perfect, but it was really dang good. I will definitely say. So this will just attract the one guy. And they didn't see that. It was tucked away enough in there. But yeah, this whole going around grass and like figuring out how to lure people over and assassinate them feels like I'm playing Assassin's Creed. But if I had the choice between like playing a new Assassin's Creed and playing this, I would choose this. Knowing nothing about Assassin's Creed Shadows, I have not watched like any of the gameplay clips or anything. Knowing nothing about it, if I had the choice between experiencing that new game that I've never played before and just having access to being able to play this game, I think I'd still choose this game. I really quite enjoyed this game. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to chain assassinate. Look at your leader! Watch him fall! Ready to die. But yeah, if I had to choose like one game that like I won't ever be able to play, even though I've already experienced this game and really enjoyed it, I would still choose this, like the guaranteed thing that I really liked. Whoa. As opposed to the new thing that I don't really have a whole lot of faith in, if I'm gonna be honest. There, quick switch. Okay. Boopity bop. Quick switch. So yeah, you can definitely do like quick switches as you get better at it. Like this. Dang it. I'm still not the best at this game. I'm still not exactly fantastic at it. And I die. What game do I not have much faith in? New Assassin's Creed games like Shadows. I'm still wearing the Traveler's thing here. Switch to Ghost Armor. I'll do this for, and then I'll probably wrap things up. So yeah, usually I would prioritize like the new thing that I hadn't experienced before, as opposed to like something that I've already experienced before. But that being said, if I had to choose like one game that I'd be able to continue to play for the rest of my life, and one that I have to give up on ever playing, I would still choose like this game. It's my preferred one, because I actually really, really like this game. Like, excellent work by Sucker Punch here, I will say. Like, again, I absolutely adore the Sly games. Like, I think it's my favorite game trilogy in terms of, like, encapsulating a beginning, middle, and end of a story. I think it is fantastic. Hi. So, this is awkward. He really wants to do that right as I got my ghost stance. Okay. This is fine, don't worry about it. Oh, Shadow sounds like it'll be more like Black Flag. Like Black Flag. Okay, well, terrified enemies, which worked out great for me there. Well, time to do this again. Ghost meter. Assuming I don't get hit again. Well. But yeah, as I play this game, one of the prevalent thoughts that goes through my head is that I wish this is what Assassin's Creed was. So I can't help but continue to think here. The way you and others have talked about the trailers, I don't know, like, anything about the game. Like, I'm talking about it from the sense of, the thing that I've talked about the most is, like, people being like, what? A black man in feudal Japan? That's not historically accurate. Again, like, I'll pissed online at it, even though, you know, Yasuke was a real dudo. Is all I've really talked about. And just, like, you might be thinking about Odyssey in terms of Black Flag. Like, I talked about how there was, like, ship combat in that was kind of like Black Flag. I know absolutely nothing about how the gameplay of Shadows works, apart from there's 2 playable characters. I forget what her name is the one that focuses more on, like, assassin-y kind of things. And then Yasuke is the one that focuses more on, like, combat in your face kind of things. What? Oh, I thought it was, like, above. That's what I thought was going on there. Yeah, he was a real person, but not a samurai. He was a real person and a samurai. Is what he was. Well, I guess I cleared the thingamabob. That's why, like, he was so unique. Okay, well, I did the thing. I can replay it at any time, which is kind of nice. So, yeah. I played this, and I very much think, I wish this is what Assassin's Creed was. Oh well, I apparently never did Lush Peak Shrine. But yeah, I think that's about enough for tonight. So, next stream, which will be stream 5, I'll play the Iki Island DLC here. I think it's called that and not a different island name, probably. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's that. And that's apparently only like 5 hours, so I'll probably be able to do it in one stream. So, probably go up to stream 5 here, so. I really, really enjoyed this main game. Looking forward to seeing what this additional content holds. Maybe there's like some new abilities, maybe there's some new enemy types or something. That'd be kind of cool. See what kind of new stuff I can play around with. And then yeah, that'll conclude the main stuff. And then if I randomly feel like coming back to do like some other stuff, like some of these quests that are around the world here, then I could see myself doing that at like the tail end of a 24-hour cherry stream when I'm barely awake. I finished all the other stuff that I want to do during the event, and I just want to play something else just to, like, pass the time up until, like, the end of the event. So, like, a 24-hour cherry stream or a LAN event, I could see myself potentially coming back and doing this stuff here. I would imagine that it does, because it's the director's cut version is the case. I can switch my input here. Because they released the PS4 version, and then the PS5 version released, like, with this built in. Was the case, and then, if you want, you could buy the DLC as a, as a DLC for the original PS4 version, if that's what you had. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut is the version that's available for Steam. So yes, I would imagine that it includes, like, the additional content here. Recent reviews, very positive, 94%. All reviews, 93% of the 37,500 user reviews for this game are positive. Yep, I would definitely give it a pretty positive review. PlayStation Network account required for online multiplayer Legends mode. And PlayStation overlay. Subject to the PlayStation Network terms of service and user agreement. Yeah, because PlayStation game thingamabob here. Is this game relevant to you? Similar to games you've played. Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Well, I'm definitely not talking out of my ass when it comes to them being somewhat similar. Even Steam thinks that it's similar to Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla. It sure seems like here. But yeah, so there's all the content on the Steam version. It's like the same version as like the game that I'm playing here. So yeah, next stream will be the last stream, probably, unless I need to cut it short for some reason. Probably be the last stream of like the content that I feel obligated to cover and get through here. But then like maybe I'd play this from time to time, like as filler stuff, because it's a game that I genuinely really liked. And when I genuinely really like a game, I'll do like additional stuff after the fact when it just like fills some time, or I'm bored and I really want to play something else or whatever else here. So yeah, it is currently 3:06 in the morning. So it is time to wrap it up. So yeah, about 29 hours now. Wait, would that be for my last save? Yeah, so save there. Sure you want to overwrite this data? Yes, so I last saved at like 2:03 in the morning. It's over an hour later. So I go to save game here. Yeah, now it shows. Yeah, 30 hours into this game. So that took me about 30 hours there, almost exactly. And that was like somewhat taking my time. And now it's 3:06 in the morning on the... Oh yeah, the date format is different across like the way my PC shows it as month, day, year. I think I can change that. Maybe I should change my PC to day, month, year. So I should do. I kind of prefer that. Yeah, it honestly does seem like a game that would be genuinely fun to 100%. And not that big of an ask either. Like, you want 100% a game like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like, good luck. Have fun taking the next year for that. But, like, this seems like, you know, there's a decent smidge of stuff to do to 100% it, but not, like, overwhelmingly so. It kind of feels like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, maybe in that sense. Like, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, 100%ing that game took me, like, an 80-part series, so that was, like, 40 hours, if each part is roughly half an hour. So maybe a little bit more than Black Flag in that sense. Potentially. Because, I mean, I can get through stuff in Black Flag really fast. Could be because I'd already 100%ed the game before, and then when I 100%ed it on stream was like my second time 100%ing the game. So maybe I was used to it, but yeah, it doesn't take too long, and I imagine it probably wouldn't be too long in this game either. Out of curiosity, if I look up here, how long to beat Ghost of Tsushima, how long do people say for like 100%? Let's see here. If I go to how long to beat, about 25 hours in length. Yep, that checks out. Main story plus sides, 46 hours. Okay, well, I was doing main story and a little bit of sides in 30 hours. Like, I guess sides would probably be doing like a whole bunch more of those side quests. Completionist, 62 hours. So, on average, the people that reported their play times, it was about 62 hours to 100% the game. That's not that bad. That is shorter than how long it takes to just beat a lot of the games that I've been playing on this channel in recent years that keep on taking too long. So, yeah, that's a pretty good length. That's a pretty nice amount of content, I think. Oh yeah, and there's technique points for doing those, and gold and stuff. But I'm fine on that front. I'm going to bed here now. Yeah, I really like that game. That was pretty good. And now I look forward to playing the short expansion here, start to finish. We'll see what that ends up being like, but I'm looking forward to it. I had fun with this. I'm sure I'll have fun with that. And yeah, I think I'm definitely going to play Ghost of Yotai when it's out, because I really liked this game. As it turned out, there's a little experiment of, do I like it or not? The answer is yes, I do. But I'm gonna go to bed now, because it's 3 in the morning. That was fun. There's still more fun to be had on the smaller island. So yeah, until then, take care and see you.